Ladies and gents, this is Rules of American Football Explained. NFL. Is there more than NFL? Oh yeah, this is NCAA. They play football too, don't they? So yeah, this is NFL. I know nothing about American football. I thought rugby and football is just basically same. And they're just named differently. But I'm pretty sure there are different rules and the way the game is played. I have no knowledge about this. I know things about soccer, obviously. I know about cricket since I'm an Indian. But I know nothing about this. I know things about golf, but there are lots of sports I don't know about. But I'm pretty sure I know a lot about major sports. And this is a major sport that I don't know nothing about. So I always want to learn about like American football. Lots of people watch it. Lots of references there are to American football, and I have literally no knowledge about it. So this video explains it in 6 minutes. I always thought it's way too complicated to just learn, but let's see how this video explains it. Because I love how Bill Burr once said that it's football. I don't care if some guy just punts a baby off the floor. I'm gonna have to watch football. I don't condone what the guy did, but I have to watch football since it's football. It's so great, man. So lots of people revere this sport. Like they have to watch this sport. I never understood about sports like that, but let's watch the video. Because this is going to be surprising, because lots of time I've seen American football played in movies and just watched some of the actual clips of an actual game, and I've always been confused by lots of things that I never understood. So let's watch this.
It explains the rules of American football. The object of the game is for your team to score more points than the opposing team. Teams are made up of 46 players in the NFL, with 11 players taking to the field at any one time. The field is 100 yards long by 53.
That's the case with most sports, isn't it? In cricket, there are 11 people. In soccer, there's 11 people. In American football, there's 11 people. Why? Because you have 10 fingers, so you have 10 players and one for reserve or something.
Yards wide, with two 10-yard end zones at each end. White markings on the field help players, referees and spectators keep a track of what's going on. The game starts with a kickoff. The team with possession of the ball is known as the offense, and the team without the ball.
Oh, so it's literally kickoff. I thought they started with, that kind of thing, while both of the teams are facing each other, some play here, some play here, and they just throw ball behind and everybody just tackle each other. I thought that's how it started, but no, apparently it starts with a kickoff.
Ball is the defense. The job of the offense is to move the ball up the field and try and score points. This can be done by either running forwards with the ball, or by throwing it up the field for a teammate to catch. The offense is given 4 chances, or 4 downs, to make at least 10 yards. If the offense manages to move the ball 10 yards or more, they will retain possession of the ball, whilst given another 4 downs to make another 10 yards. On your TV screen you will see this graphic. This tells you what down the team is on, and this tells you how many yards they need to make. If you're also watching this on TV, they will also show you the lines they need to cross in order to make their downs. The defense.
How are they doing this graphics though? People are walking on it, they're doing this. That's weird.
His job is to stop the offense moving the ball forwards by tackling. This includes pulling them to the ground, stopping them from moving forward, or forcing them off the field. If the offense fails to move the ball 10 yards within 4 downs, the ball is given to the defending team at that point. The defending team will then bring on their offensive players and try and move the ball in the opposite direction so that they can score.
Oh, wait a minute. So it's not fixed, the 11 players. Out of 46 players, a coach can change the entire teams during the game. Is that it? So the 11 players that are on the field can be swapped for another 11 player whenever coach wants it. Huh. Because in soccer, there are people in reserve, but it's mostly the same people. Sometimes you can, only 2 or 3 times you can swap it during the game. That's what it is. In cricket, there are also just 11 people. Maybe you can change it, but no, I don't think you can change it. But in this, you can change the entire teams. So whenever you are in defense, you are defensive player there. And whenever you know offense, you can have offensive player there. Is that it? I didn't know that. So that makes the coach's job really stressful, man. That's like some military commander on the field, always strategizing who to send, what to do, what not to do. That's heavy.
You'll most likely see the offense kick the ball away on 4th down to make it more difficult for the other team to score. Teams will usually have 3 different units of 11 players that come on the field at different times. They include the offense. These players will usually come on the field when they have possession of the ball. The offensive unit consists of these positions.
I know the quarterback is the most revered guy of the entire sport. Like, he's a quarterback, and everybody's like, apparently his job is more important than the other ones.
The quarterback is the most important player on the field, as he's the one who decides to pass the ball up the field, hand it off to a teammate so that they can run with it, or decide to run with it himself.
Oh, okay, so he kind of decide how the play is gonna play out. He decide who to give ball or whatnot, everybody just follows, that's why, okay.
These offensive line positions are usually responsible for protecting the quarterback. The wide receivers are responsible for running down the field to catch the ball thrown by the quarterback. The tight end is responsible for blocking and also catching the ball in the middle of the field. And the running back and fullback is responsible for running with the ball up the field. The defense. These players will usually come on the field when the other team has the ball. The defensive unit consists of these positions. The defensive line is responsible for moving past the offensive line. The linebackers stop running backs coming through the defensive line, and they're also responsible for attacking the quarterback. The cornerbacks try and stop the wide receivers.
I remember hearing about how American football causes lots of psychological issues because it's so physical. Did something change throughout, or it's still that? Because I'm gonna be honest, if I could play any sport, I would not play American football. It's just so dangerous the way it looks, and I've seen people having injuries that over time just makes them psychological issues over time. And I've been watching WWE my whole life, obviously. Lots of people have, and I know Bill Goldberg, and he was in American football and he wasn't even that good, and yet when he came to WWE he was just monster. So I'm just imagining the best American footballers like this, best players, how strong and devastating must they been. And anybody, I've seen the movies where obviously it's most of comedy movies and things here and there, but I've seen that how some guy can just tackle somebody and they knock out the other person. So how dangerous is this sport, or is just that all just exaggerated?
And the safeties try and stop the pass up the middle of the field. Special teams. Special teams are specialist players that come on the field when there's a kick involved. Within the special teams is a mixture of offensive and defensive players, mixed with either a punter or kicker for offense, or a punt returner for defense. Now you know what all the players do and how the game is played. But how do you score? In American football, there's 4 different ways of scoring. Number 1, a touchdown. The main way of scoring is via a touchdown. If the ball is carried into the end zone area, or thrown and caught in the end zone, this is a touchdown.
Basically just grab the ball and just fuck off to the end, and you score the most points. That's very simple.
It is worth 6 points. Unlike in rugby, you don't need
simple, not easy though. They'll rip you to shreds if you get caught.
Touch the ball down onto the ground. All you have to do is cross the line with the nose of the ball to score. Number 2, extra points. Once a touchdown has been scored, you have the option of kicking it through the uprights for an extra point, or try and pass or run the ball into the end zone for an extra 2 points. Most teams play it safe and go with the 1 point.
This must be hard, man. The ball is not round and you have to kick it to that particular area. Because it's not round, whenever it's kicked at a different angle, it would turn around just because of the wind resistance, since it's not round.
Number 3, field goal. At any time, the team with the ball can kick the ball between the posts and over the crossbar. To do this, they must hand it to a teammate who will hold it down to the ground, ready for the kicker to make a kick. A successful kick scores 3 points. Number 4, a safety. If the defense tackles an offensive player behind his own goal line, the defending team scores 2 points. The game is played in 4 15-minute quarters for a combined playing time of 60 minutes. Highest score at the end of 60 minutes wins. Ties are rare in American football, and overtime periods are played if necessary to determine the winner. Different leagues have different rules about tie games. Is that it? Is that all I need to know? Well, you're almost there, but American football is filled with lots of rules, and you'll need to understand if...
I like how that guy just took the ball and just ran. Everybody's trying to catch him but can't. That's just awesome, man.
A few more of them before playing or watching a game. For example, fumble. If a ball carrier drops the ball, that's a fumble. Any player on the field can recover the ball by diving onto it. The team that recovers a fumble gets possession of the ball. Interception. An aggressive defense can regain possession of the ball by catching or intercepting passes that are meant for players on the other team. Both fumble recoveries and interceptions can be run back into the end zone for touchdowns. Sack. If the defense tackles a quarterback whilst he has possession of the ball, this is known as a sack. This is detrimental to the offense as a down is wasted, and this usually results in a loss of yards. Incomplete pass. If a pass intended to a receiver hits the ground first or is thrown out of bounds, this is ruled an incomplete pass. A down is wasted and play restarts from the spot of the last down. Penalty. If a player breaks one of the rules, referees will throw flags onto the field. They will determine who made the foul and how many yards his team should be penalised. Challenge. If a coach disagrees with the decision on the field, they can throw red flags onto the field. The previous play will then be reviewed, and if the challenge is successful, the ruling on the field is reversed. If the challenge is unsuccessful and the ruling on the field stands, they forfeit one timeout. Timeout. If a team wants to stop the clock to regroup, take a break or discuss strategy, they are allowed 3 timeouts per half. Each timeout lasts 60 seconds, and players get a break of 12 minutes at half time. Now this is a lot to take in, but once you start playing or watching American football, the rules will become clear.
Yeah,
if you found this video at all helpful, please like, share with your friends, rate, comment and subscribe. It takes me ages to make one of these things, and good karma is very much appreciated.
Yeah, it's not as complicated as I thought. It's easy to understand. Now it's going to be easier to watch the American football, because before I was always confused about some things, but the one thing was surprising me too is that coach can swap entire teams when he's offense and defense. I don't think any sport I've seen who does that. That's awesome. This is so fast paced, isn't it, this sport? It's just, full intensity. I remember seeing some training for some, key, named people of American football, and they're like training really hard. Then they go take an ice bath because their body is so heating up. That just seeing that makes me sweat, man. Like, damn. This is really demanding sport. Of all the sports, this is really demanding sport. When I learned the statistic like soccer has more injury than the American football, I'm like, what? That was surprising, since this is such intense sport. Alright, if you like my reaction, please don't forget to like and subscribe.